All right. Let's have roll call. And if we could start to my left, and if you'll just speak your
Make
name.
sure your microphones are on.
John Greedennis, present.
Tim Eastridge, present.
Fred Cuthbertson.
A double pipe twisting somersault.
Kristen Strand.
The Olympics is present.
Warren Nielsen, present.
Are they the same species? I don't think so.
Okay. Do we have any public comments? Anybody wish to step up and make any comments at all? Are we just observing tonight? Okay. All
Oh, are
right.
you're part of the agenda down here already? Okay.
No, I think you have an agenda. Just brought our attention to come here. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, let's review the minutes then.
There's a lot of them this time.
There's a lot of them. Linda, did you find any
You know, I'm
corrections?
still going over them, but I think
Is a
we're fine.
English grammar math.
I didn't find anything, but
You really have that many minutes?
I know. it's quite a few.
Chatterbox.
This is a book, Steve.
Yeah, that was the land use hearing.
Oh,
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as read.
I'll second the motion.
we have a first and a second. All in favor to approve the minutes of July 1st, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes have been passed. Right. Steve, we're just gonna go right down this list, if that's all right with you.
Right, sir.
Let's go with the review of the city zoning, unless you want to go in a different order tonight.
Actually, they're both probably one and the same. And what I'm looking for, we've talked about this in the past, going over redoing some of the city zones. What you see on here is basically we had the original one was the commercial street area, and you see that with the C right below the GRB. That's basically the block, the area that has the city hall, fire department, the church, the Baker House, that area. So commercial street in that zone becomes commercial. We also talked about the area above where we have 8th, 7th, 9th, 10th, between Ash Street, essentially, in that area, which are where the PND surges
Okay.
stuff going to over to GRB. So we're taking some out of GRB for commercial, but adding a chunk because a lot of that, as we noted, was already GRB regardless or less because of those manufactured home and also what Surge is planning on doing anyway. So that takes what's already been looked at and we're just codifying it and making it GRB. You see GRB down in that 8 acres down by the Red Hills area or 12 acres. That is also now under active consideration for housing by North Santiam Paving. They won't be able to put a lot in there because of the wetlands. They have wetlands issues to deal with. But that was also going to be smaller lots, just like Red Hills. So it'd be just an extension of Red Hills. The second area that we really did not talk about, but makes a lot of sense, is taking the area that we have the Wilbur Ellis and just making that commercial rather than light industrial.
Mhm.
The second part is we had light industrial for the strip between that really is on a lease from us from Benton County that we were going to use for a park or something, move that out of light industrial, which it really can't be anyway, and move it over to public. P stands for public, by the way. It doesn't stand. It's like green for parks, but it's public use. So those were just based upon my review, what we have discussed at Planning Commission, what's been discussed at council and work sessions. I mean, these have up to this point, it's just been, we've had open discussions. But at this point, I'm looking for your review, comments, additions, subtractions, so that it can move forward. The next step would be actually having a 20-day notice to come to council come to Planning Commission for a review of a zoning change. That would be a review that would be against what you folks are recommending tonight. And then also against the comp plan, because the comp plan and housing inventory and all that has to be dealt with as well. And then finally on to council and then on to the DLCD.
One question for you. On Kelly Street, do those apartments fit in the GRB?
GRB area, right?
They're not considered high density, they're medium.
It's medium density. I'm not really changing, and that's a good topic for your discussion. If you want to actually add another higher density zoning to this, make that maybe that area on Kelly Street a higher density than GRB, which is what we consider medium density or 5,000 square
What
foot
would it
lots.
benefit us?
The only benefit would be that folks, if they wanted to put higher density like they did with the Bounds apartments would be they wouldn't have to come here for conditional use. But it might be, regardless if they want to do that, it might be wise to have a conditional use anyway. So that would be the only stipulation would be that they would need to come here and get if they wanted to put more density than that. Go ahead.
What's the difference? Medium density is a 5,000 square foot?
5,000 square foot versus 8,000 square foot.
And low density is 8,000 square. foot.
Right, exactly. And we already have in GRA, for instance, up on 10th and is it? Yeah, I think it's 10th. Yeah, 10th and Orchard, that very corner lot there on 10th and Orchard. You see a very long skinny lot. That's 6,996 square feet. It's in a GRA and we'd have to be, it's going to be grandfathered in if they wish to replace that. It's being actively looked at being sold right now. To be sold. That's a Spooner residence. So they would need to put something, a manufactured home or something in there, but it's allowable to put something in with a similar footprint. It's a very long, narrow, skinny lot, but it's more GRA or GRB than it is a GRA type of lot. But we have a lot of lots like that in town. They'll just have to be grandfathered in under the previous zoning, as long as they want to keep it with residential within the setbacks.
Any discussion on that or thought about doing high density anywhere? The only reason I was thinking about Kelly is because I don't know if that Bounds is a 5,000 square foot lot, is it, where he wants to do the apartments?
He wants to, it would work as a GRA, but what he wants to do is put 4 units in there, and that's twice the density for that lot. We did approve it already for that. And that's really all that can go in there at the moment. We already have that density all along there with those existing multifamily units.
I think it makes more, frankly, I think it makes more sense for us to continue the way that we did with that and just review them individually rather than doing it as a particular zone. Personally, just because of, it seems like it's more expedient for us to handle it that way as opposed to doing some sort of like larger architectural.
It might become at some point where the town, all these little lots that are on Orchard are commercial main streets, all those older homes, as time moves on. But I don't see that happening today or tomorrow. But maybe in the next 10, 15 years, you might see higher density units coming in. At that point, I'm sure the planning commission will want to revisit it.
I think it's a ways off.
But that's a ways off. I don't see that happening today or tomorrow.
So we talked about these really generally, but right, I mean, just for the density, we're talking about these 2 purple areas changing
Yes,
and they are currently GRA.
they are currently GRA.
And in this upper area, the GRB area that's being recommended, there's already homes that meet the GRB requirement,
yes.
not the GRA.
Yeah,
requirement.
exactly. So we would be taking about half of that. And the PND lots are also in the 5,500 square foot. Now, I was trying to look back when the other lots were approved, but it did appear as though we gave an exception for Pacific Northwest Development to develop smaller
Mhm.
lots up there.
And then this would match, this sliver would match the current. And what is that currently rated? GRA?
Which sliver is that? That one there, that's
yeah.
GRA.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's a 12-acre
And
area.
this is GRB at the north side. of
Yes, it
town.
is.
It already is so now.
Correct.
Question for you. Is that something you could show up there instead of? That would be helpful. On the side question, I know you're talking about some of the zoning, but part of our purpose for here is we're understanding that there's a change or possible change of addition on 10th and Ash. About moving housing in onto the wetland property there.
Yes.
And we had a notice about that, and that is our purpose for being here today.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about is in fact, let me put this up here for you so you can see. If you just bear with me, yeah, you can have that, yeah, by all means, but if you bear with me just one moment. And you receive that notice from the Corps of Engineers or the DEQ. Okay. Yeah, I just received that as well. What they're referring to is Pacific Northwest Development put an application into the Corps of Engineers and the DEQ. It's what's called a joint application for a permit to develop in that property that is between 8th Street, 10th Street, and Ash Street. We call that the PND property or Surge's property more colloquially. But the permit is now under review by the Corps of Engineers and by the DEQ, and they're inviting any neighbors and people to comment on it for public comment. You hang on just one
That's
second.
basically the infill that he's gonna do.
Right. And if you wish to have a, what I'm gonna do here is I'm very sorry, I'm on my phone here. But I need to,
So this right here,
Mhm.
we switch this. Where's this is gonna take it so the land would be 5,000 square foot?
Yeah.
But
From 8 to 5.
where's the exit for if you put extended more houses in there?
Well, they have.
they would have to,
They'd have
it would,
They have to come in from here.
they would have to come to us and ask.
No,
Put a,
we're discussing something else.
this is just zoning, not building.
They have to, they
Well,
have to.
I realize that, but what we're doing is you're gonna add more housing, right?
Yep. And they'll, and when they do decide to, no, all we're doing is zoning so they can
Okay.
put in smaller,
They
not
have
to build
They
anything.
have to put a plan together that
For roads.
safety and all that.
Right, and a number of roads and and infrastructure, all that would have to go through a big land use
All right.
discussion. And you folks would have to grill them on access points and exit points and,
Mhm.
But it seems like the rationale is the stuff adjacent to Red Hills would just be zoned, eventually would be zoned the same as Red Hills, essentially.
Right.
That's
That
just
makes sense.
make it kind of coherent. Hey, Steve, I'm wondering, can I, and I don't want to.
go ahead.
So- So the section that includes Surge's stuff,
Mhm.
I'm wondering why it runs all the way over to 10th and rather than just having the GRB go up 8th Street.
They also own the corner pieces up there at the top of the map up there. So the GRB section, if you look up at the
Yeah,
Ash Street and 10th, they
yeah.
also own that corner lot as well.
And it needs to be GRB for what they're doing?
Yes, they're planning on putting 5,000 square foot lots in there.
Okay,
Which is what they did already.
Ready for
We already
8 other
kinda gave
homes.
them
I see.
A green light on that before.
Now, you do not have to, I mean, I just blocked that thing up to make to be expedient with it.
No, that makes sense. I just didn't understand that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the reason why.
Okay,
All right, I was successful.
We knew.
It always helps being successful.
We knew you could do it. If you can't do it, nobody can. do
No
it.
one
So
could do it there, right? All right, let me open that.
Has there been any more movement with the Loving property?
No, there has not been up to this point. All right, we are
Yay,
now
there you go.
shared.
The magic of technology.
All right, so the property that is Surge's property, the P and D property, the property that is now being considered for a wetlands permit, if you follow my cursor, is right in here. So this is the wetlands area here. So looking at 8th Street, this is 8th Street. These are the manufactured homes. There's homes, Surge has homes here, 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 just under the GNGRB. He wants to develop these longer sections of land here, 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 and there.
Yeah, he has
Okay.
2 on 10th too. So.
Yes, yes, to a test. So this is the area that he wants. There are wetlands. I will also.
So did the smaller lots in that GRB area, GRA area came in through variances?
Yes, or no, a conditional use. A long time ago, actually, 2017, somewhere in that area.
So when those manufactured homes went in, they're smaller than.
Oh, yeah.
5,000 square
I don't know. That really
feet. Tiny,
predated.
tiny lots.
That never went before the planning commission,
Years ago.
way back when.
So
It was a good old boy system.
we just leave.
That was the old handshake, nod, nod.
What's that?
We just would have to leave those lots alone.
Yes, we have to leave them
Once they're in,
alone. Exactly.
Or we increase density even more to make. those
Correct.
work. Are there GRA size lots in that area now? People owning larger 8,000?
Along Nash there, I think. that-
Along Ash above here, and there's one at least, there's a few on this north side here that are, but they would allow that if they sold it, then they could put them into 5,000 square foot. Some of these, like these right here, this is what I'm looking at right now is the wetlands map. And these green areas are the designated wetlands that are still officially on there. So you can see there are wetlands on the south portion. There's a wetlands section kind of coming up between. And then there's one up here. So this is the Pacific Northwest Development, Surges, the one that's under permit, has this green area, most of this green area, and this chunk of green area here. The rest of it's on Mason's land,
Yeah.
right down over here.
That area that's green, long, skinny, that's Pine Creek. So it cut it.
I called it when when I first got here in 2018, they were building right here. And they ran into one of our 6-inch mains. And
That's when it became Pine Creek.
yeah, and it became, I called it the PND Creek at that point.
P&D Creek.
PND Creek. Yeah, it came all the way down here and emptied into the slough and out. We lost about 40,000 gallons of water that evening.
So they would have to deal with the wetlands with, that's not a city.
No, this is with the Corps of Engineers and with the DEQ, and they have to provide them. They did an extensive review and engineering analysis and design of what they propose to do to mitigate this. The second part of it is that 1.5 acres will be purchased from the Marys River Land Bank to compensate for it. So that's how it is. The other part of this too, and just because I'm on the ground up there a lot, the reason why it's wetlands is this is called intermittent wetlands. It's because the ground is so hard, the water sheets off of it.
Mhm.
It is not normally a slough or anything that's, has marsh critters and that type of thing. It's in the wintertime, it just simply does not absorb water, period.
When's the last time this was challenged?
Right.
I don't know.
Because the lady that came down when we were over in City Hall, she said every 5 years you can challenge this wetlands.
Right, and then it changes. That's.
'Cause it changes. And there's been a lot of changes up there.
Well, these particular sloughs have been looked at and these particular areas, and according to the engineers that are working with Pacific Northwest Development, they're still a valid, they're still valid. Now, I don't think that's, this is up to I think the challenge would be from the Corps of Engineers or
Right.
someone else.
Right.
This land is being developed. What we'd want to do is challenge land if we counted it in our land use inventory. And it's like, no, there's no way in the world that, that's
we
the
could build on
case, then we should challenge it. In this case, the engineers and Pacific Northwest Pacific Northwest Development are managing it through this permit
We
process.
have nothing to do with it.
So am I hearing that our commentary here regarding that particular property needs to go through the Corps of Engineers? Because we steadfastly oppose.
You would be a comment through the Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, we don't have anything to do with it.
Continue to add those homes up at Tim and Ash. The first two homes we were here when they built that, those other 6 homes, I think it was.
Mhm.
built,
8 homes total.
8
Yeah.
homes.
yeah.
There was no improvements to the infrastructure, the sewage, the drainage, emergency egress. The only time they put that turnaround in was because the neighbors complained that there would be no place for a fire truck to turn
Right.
around. We do not believe that Surge and that property development company will follow through. And that they are simply going to shove what amount of water there is into the existing homes in that area. And we said that's the opposed and actually building that surge.
So,
I was looking actually came down about the turnaround for the fire trucks, and they put in that spot after the last house was right before the dead end. And they were supposed to put a sign that said emergency vehicles only. Didn't happen. They were supposed to put sidewalks in, never happened. We also have to fight continually to get gravel and ask that street paved because we have to go to the county, we have to go to the city, and it's a separation.
We would require that, we were gonna require them to put sidewalks,
Sidewalks.
gutters, paved streets.
Well-
That's what we're gonna require them to do.
so
So that was just
They
to,
were supposed to do that after they sold those homes, and that never happened.
No.
That was not the
No,
agreement that we had with them.
So let me clarify the two things here. So the Corps of Engineers is about the wetlands.
Okay.
So let's go forward and say, in a perfect world, the Corps of Engineers says, let's do it. You guys go forth. They have to come to this body right here.
Okay.
And then they have to produce their plans. Right now, the plans that I've seen are fully paved streets, gutters, stormwater, according to the plan that the DEQ and will provide. And this includes the homes that were already built off of Ash, those roads being completely connected, paved, streets, sidewalks, gutters, everything. I wasn't here, but I'm just gonna say, was not here, but I have read all the planning documents from the prior city administrator and the council at that time. And they were allowed to put those homes in with the condition that upon improvement, there's a remonstrance, that upon improvement of the remaining lots, that they would have to complete and finish that to the city's expectations. This group will have to review it in a land use hearing, and will have to, just like Red Hills, if you look to the Red Hills, it'll be finished similarly to that. So that's what would happen. However, having even said that, not to placate you, to say that, you get to come back at that point, because there'll be another land use hearing. We have to give 20 days notice to all the residents, and you get to come here and say, you look at the plans, you can sit here and make recommendations to the commission. You can do the whole thing, and then it'll go to council, and you get another chance to go to council and say the same thing, that you firmly oppose or agree, or if I'm gonna do this, you've got to have this done. So these signage needs to be up. You have all 2 opportunities to make your voice heard, and to talk to these folks and to the council before approval of any plans.
And that was our purpose today, we just noticed that we were told this would be a good meeting to attend.
It is a good meeting.
Yeah, we need more people coming in and input. Yes, please.
Was so happy seeing you here.
Yes.
I know you.
No, he really was.
There's normally an echo in this room. There's normally an echo in there.
You know, if we brought beers for the audience, maybe people, it'd be wall to wall people.
But it's my understanding that where that hammerhead is, where they're going to, the fire truck turn around, which is actually an extension of Pine. My understanding that we see the Pine's going to go clear up,
Yeah, clear up.
straight up, a street's going to come straight up
It
there.
connects between those houses. Yeah,
Between-
the pine will
yeah,
go
from
right between those
Pine-
houses.
Pine will go clear down.
Right up to your
Yeah.
gate, actually. Yeah. No, not yet, but it is within the urban growth boundary.
Yeah,
so-
it will be, it'll be, all those roads will be finished and extended. So there's multiple access points, multiple egress points. We're requiring sidewalks, gutters. The stormwater absolutely has to be, this has to be well engineered because the city has to take over. And the Department of Environmental Quality is now just really hammering everybody on this. So I have to be very, very clear that when they do this, we as a city have to be able to maintain it afterwards. If we can't, then they're gonna have to do something
We
different.
appreciate that, 'cause that probably isn't what we've seen since 2017, so that's our concern.
Right. And when I came,
We watched the water get pushed around up there until it caused drainage problems in the streets and houses below that.
right.
That's.
And so we're gonna intercept that water and move it. We're gonna have to improve the drainage between 8th Street and 7th. And then from 7th down to Pine, where it actually goes into a ditch that goes along the rail easement. And then across, and then finally into the Long Tom River. But that is too small. We know that. And so that'll be improved as well.
And those attributes you're mentioning are our current building codes.
Yes,
They are coded into our building codes.
yes,
so
they
have to
are.
be okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then
we-
if looking at it, the builder decides it's not to go forward, there's no way to ask those remonstrances to come be until he builds. So there's no
I
way to-
I would require it
Okay,
because I have the written documentation on it.
but that's only if he decides to proceed.
That's correct.
And if he doesn't proceed due to costs or whatever, then we're kind of stuck with the same.
Well, what I would do then is
Recommend.
say the city is that, because I believe that how it was worded was if they develop,
Right.
they need to do it. If the city decides to develop, we're going to require it.
Okay.
Because today, we have, you know, the back and like, you know, it's just-
Yeah, it is. We have the same issue on top of Main too. We need to improve that because we have in the winter time, they're going into mud and we have, the ruts are this deep, so.
So if the city decided that it was required to push, like say, push Pine through, then there could be an opportunity to ask for the funding to
Yes.
complete that process.
Yes.
Okay. That's good to know.
But that, if we did that, it goes right through the middle of the wetlands. So we gotta be careful with that.
Well,
That little
I didn't know
dog-
where-
that little dog leg.
yeah, I was just picking a name of a street.
I'll make a Serpentine Street, you know, that'll put Monroe in the map,
All right.
put brick on it.
Nobody else has those around.
That's right. And put a roundabout somewhere, just because ODOT likes
We need a
roundabouts.
roundabout.
We do.
somewhere. We need to be, we need to be like everybody else.
My last trip to Eastern Oregon, where there was only one under construction in Sisters, now there's like 10 of them between there and Bend, so.
I had to take Dramamine. I got car sick. while on those things.
I know.
All right.
Got lost.
So one other quick, question.
So
if the
going back to the
commercial
zoning,
unit is developed,
do we need to,
you're taking GRB land
We need to
away.
make,
Right,
Okay,
and we're adding the GRB land to those up there.
okay.
are you asking us to approve this to move
Um,
forward, or is this what's the
What
next
I'm
step?
after right now, you're gonna get a chance to approve it next month
Okay,
after we post a formal land use hearing. But I'm after right now, just simply say, does this look right? Do we need to add more, subtract?
I'm a little confused about the dimensions of the commercial
Yeah.
block that goes
Yeah.
around by
Mhm.
Commercial Street. What's the rationale behind kind of wiggling around between all of those residences? What's the thought process there?
Right now, the property, you're talking about the dog leg that goes up to Main Street.
Uh, I'm
That's
talking-
all, that is actually the church right there. That's actually all church property from Kelly down to Maine on that side. The other is because it's following property lines.
Is 110
Okay,
Is,
110
Down to me,
North
that's not-
Sixth, is
that's
that
not
on,
commercial.
right there on the
Oh.
corner of Main and Sixth? Is that part of the church too?
yes,
Okay, I didn't know that. All right,
yes, but they're
Commercial-
part of their parsonage, I believe.
okay.
Yeah.
There is.
The commercial zone from Maine down to Orchard,
yeah, that you were
that
talking,
little red.
And,
Spot
and,
that
and also, the original idea was also so that big block there is actually a, Thompson's, multifamily unit, big man, multifamily unit is there.
Yeah, those 14 units right there.
So how
And
does-
certainly we can move that line up so that it just goes behind City Hall and the fire department and the three blocks and then Baker House, which is the one on the corner of Sixth and Commercial.
So just, again,
I
making it
think,
commercial does not require any change to the current land use. It allows other land use, but you could still have the apartment complex, you could still have residential. and all
Sure,
that.
sure,
It's not-
absolutely. It
it's
just means that it can be, if someone wanted to sell it and put commercial activity there, they could. Or they could they could put commercial activity there. It doesn't preclude a residential use or anything else. It gives people an option. If they want to keep it residential, it stays residential.
not. And this is outside the river district, so would not allow light industrial in that commercial area.
That is correct. It would be commercial only per the zoning.
The zoning that we have.
Right.
Okay.
It might allow, however, because we just changed it, in the commercial zones, they could be, short-term rentals.
So with the food pantry, would that be better to be in a commercial zone it's in a residential zone?
Yeah, that is one of those things. It's because it was originally a church and then it became the food pantry. And it did come before council at some point and the council said, yep, sure.
it's a variance.
Because of all that, its current use is as a food pantry, a storage for food.
Give
And as
classes
long as
there.
they keep doing it that way, they could continue. For instance, the demolition of that one section to put up, basically remove the old food storage and put a new forage storage in the same footprint is, according to our codes, a non-issue. We discussed that and you folks decided that it was also a non-issue, is conforming, even though it's a non-conforming use, it is still the same use as that it has been.
Yeah.
And that was granted to them by council some years back.
Okay. I was just curious, because I agree that there is a little confusion with having the houses facing Orchard become commercial, even though there is that apartment complex, but then.
Would you feel more comfortable just moving it up to the line
what's the
behind?
consensus of the group?
Well, it really comes down to like a future vision for the city, in my opinion. Like if you're thinking in terms of, if you're trying to encourage more business and foot traffic and going into retail, and is that really is that part of where we would want that to drive that kind of activity? And it could be, but
I think it makes sense from Sixth to Orchard. I don't know that going up Orchard makes sense. I don't know.
So just the houses along, the properties along Sixth Street.
Yep, and up commercial.
And then the line then would be drawn in the alleyway between the apartment and fire department and City Hall.
What's the general consensus?
Is that GRA now?
Yes,
And that apartment certainly doesn't fit.
the apartments GRA, it's multifamily.
Oh, so that does
Yeah.
fit in the GRA?
Yeah, well, excuse me,
No, it
I'm
doesn't.
sorry. This
Yeah.
is GRB.
Yeah.
That area is
Oh, it
GRB.
was GRB. Okay.
Yeah. So those apartment complexes fit.
Mhm.
What impact would changing it to commercial be to any of those residences that are currently on Orchard?
None.
Doesn't impact them.
It won't impact them. It does give them options. If they wish to sell, they could sell it to a realtor, for instance, who wants to set up a real estate shop or a tax accountant or.
So it doesn't change their tax burden. or
Well, that's an
anything.
interesting point.
That
too.
is an interesting, if there are more commercial activity on
That
there,
would
it
make some more
certainly could.
sense, actually. That existing structure actually could be adapted into something like that, into offices or something like that. I mean, that's not inconceivable. And might actually be a good use for it.
I just don't want to blindside our citizens with a
Mhm.
surprise. Oh, by the way, your taxes are going up because we've made a decision on
I don't think the taxes
Monday night.
change. No, the taxes don't change, do they?
The taxes might, depending on the business that would come into there. So if you had,
But the taxes wouldn't change for the adjoining
If that-
properties. It would only be for,
So if you
yeah.
remain residential, it was-
it
Right,
should not,
right,
it
right.
should not change.
Right.
I'm not saying,
Usage of the property.
It
right.
just gives them more options when they sell it.
It
so
just gives more options when they sell it. And that's really what
Okay.
we see.
I'm actually in favor of it then. now that
Yeah,
think
I don't
about
have a
it.
problem with it then. I agree.
Yeah.
That was my only
Leave it as
concern.
is.
Yeah, that was a discussion I had with the tax assessor, and it's based on use.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it would help if someone got business in there, it would help a neighbor sell it because they might be able to get more money for it because they can turn it to a commercial use. So that's what it would,
Okay.
so, but it would not affect the residents that are already
But to
there.
go back to Torrance question, it could, is that where, does that, and I guess re-asking the question, does it make sense for that area to be long-term goal to turn that area into commercial? It makes sense along 99, obviously. And additional commercial space is probably a good idea. But increased commercial space also means increased traffic up and down Orchard, trying to get onto, 99 and up and down 6th Street too. So as that develops, there would be questions of traffic flow and pedestrian flow and
Be more of a reason to put in a stop sign, slow traffic down.
it's just something to think about if that actually.
Maybe put a
develops.
light down by Orchard Street and 99.
Yeah,
All
it kind
you
of,
hear is nightmare there.
it kind of implies addressing those issues later on at some point.
Another stoplight.
Monroe's first stoplight.
No way. I'm
And-
all for the traffic circles.
You're gonna put no traffic circles on
I'm with you,
99.
Mr. Chair. I want those traffic
The
circles.
drive-through, with a drive-through at Dairy Mart.
Wow.
Yeah, yes.
Everybody has to do a circle around Dairy Mart.
They have trouble when you guys put in the crosswalk thing, so
Yeah,
that's-
yeah.
As soon as you put a stoplight in, ODOT will be doing a bypass around the town.
Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, we'll have a hearing.
The motion next.
Yes,
So
you will,
I-
I will take this and I will make it prettier, better and.
Are we dealing with
Y'all good with this? Everybody good with it?
Mistake there. Are we dealing with old
Yeah.
fertilizer
I
plant?
had.
Yes.
I had.
So that would become commercial
So that whole thing would become commercial.
and light industrial would go. It would still allow light industrial, but it would be rated commercial.
It would be, it is in our
Which is-
RDO, so
which
that would
kinda-
be the
yeah.
overriding.
Okay.
And then the area above where it is currently rated light industrial, that's the area that was leased to us by
Hmm.
Benton County. And that goes public because that's what they leased it to us for, was public use. And that's, so that would be consistent with our agreement with them. That's where we wanted to put the park or any other kind of amenities like that.
All right, I have
there.
another question real quick.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, sir.
So the little yellow spots down here that are near Red Hills in that block.
Yes,
So is there a reason, I know that right now they're not the correct size to fit inside of a GRB, but would it make sense to zone that area GRB so that in the future it conforms to that, or at least, you know what I mean? Is that?
sure.
Because it seems to me that making that whole block coherent would make some more sense in terms of like a long-term vision for the zoning.
So maybe go clear up to
South of
Orchard and
Orchard,
then
you're talking about
extend it
South of
clear up to-
Orchard.
The Orchard.
South of
Just make everything south of Orchard along the line there where the
GRB.
school is.
Yeah.
Just make it all GRB.
Yeah,
Would make more sense.
that makes sense.
Be happy to.
That makes more sense.
Is there a possible downside?
This was drawn,
Yeah.
in the 16, 17 timeframe,
Say that
16,
again,
I
down
believe.
here?
So this right here,
This whole, this,
this portion here, just make this all GRB.
Yeah.
That way this whole
Okay.
basic rectangle becomes GRB.
And actually, I mean, isn't this considered a trailer park? Wouldn't it, what is that considered? Certainly not GRA along. Isn't this where the trailer? Oh, no, no. that's right, that's right.
Further down, you gotta go
Yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
further down.
Yep, got it.
I like that.
Okay,
Okay. I think we're all in agreement.
all right, I will move forward. The next thing you'll see is we'll have a land use hearing with the staff report and all that good stuff. That'll keep me busy this month. And I have to look at the comp plan too and make sure that this fits the comp plan.
Okay.
And then you will make a formal decision next month.
Perfect.
One other, before that land use, there is growth with cities now, there's increasing look at when a city changes zoning or increases a urban growth boundary, those changes can impact the value of the property. Generally, it goes up. And there's a movement to look at how cities respond to that.
Yes.
And I can't remember what the term is right now, but is that something we should consider or think about prior to any kind of changing of these?
The
zones?
adding GRB is or actually increasing density, which is what we're doing,
Right.
fits into the affordable housing. I'll
Mhm.
put that in quotation marks. But that fits into the idea that you can pack and put more,
Subdivide your,
subdivide your land and put theoretically more affordable housing in place. Or encourage multifamily. So that would be the next step would be what the state would like us to do is encourage more multifamily homes in the town. Having higher density fits into that scheme. I'm trying to think a higher density, yes. They're shifting away, the state's shifting away from single residence lots, period. They want higher density. They want cities to start considering higher density. So what this shift right here is kind of modest. It's really just kind of consolidating all the talk and thoughts that this commission has had over the last few years. And at the same time, I think the next step was going to be looking at our GRAs and saying, you know what, those also need to be, to Commissioner Gray Dennis's point, the state is also going to want us to look at that as well. And that's part of that's going to be a comp plan update that we talked about a few months ago.
Going back to this question, is that even for assessed value? Because those values are more expensive than the larger property.
I think the state of Oregon really does not want larger properties anymore. Matter of fact, I think
But with that said, if you
yeah.
still have one and you have it sold, it, they can't force you to sell it.
no,
So does that mean that your property value, let's say it's 400,000, now it's 800,000 because I got my new zoning?
it's typically based upon the actual housing size, the square footage of your house. So with the idea is with a higher density, you could put smaller homes, which would have theoretically a lower tax cost. I say that because the tax assessor seems to find all sorts of ways to increase the value because it's in their interest to do so, right? And that's the reason why there's property tax limitations in Oregon was just because of that. So for instance, the max that we can assess in city is 3.5566% of your assessed value. And that's all we have. But that's the reason why it was just to address exactly what you were saying.
Yeah.
But they are allowed to increase your property value 3% each year.
Right, the maximum.
And they do. I mean, that's a
They
given.
do.
And
You
they
just
do.
know every year your
And they
your
do.
escrow is gonna increase.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Let's go on to some old business. Oh, yeah.
So do you guys want more multi-family housing? Is that the goal from the road, to have more of that option or to continue on kind of the single family bigger type?
We do open houses and we invite community members to come in and talk about that. And the consensus that we've heard is really, they want us to stay the small town feel. We got 8,000 cars going up 99 every day. So we want to attract people to stop and spend money in our town. And so we want to encourage business development along 99.
That's why they're rounded up.
But we want to, but the word that we've had in the community outreach and stuff is that they want to keep the small town feel, not, but that's why along this the corridor that we're talking about, we would like to see,
Mixed use.
mixed use where they have shops down below and maybe an apartment above. So keep it there, but keep the neighborhoods, more of a single family.
And
You had mentioned that, we were wanting more multi,
The state of
is.
Oregon
The
does.
state is.
okay.
Yeah.
Not Monroe.
Not Monroe.
We're looking at 26 single-family residences, right? In this new plan. Are we, like, how is the water and the sewer? Is this company, this private equity firm going to put money into investing in our local infrastructure?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, so every home that is sold comes with something called the System Development Charge, or an SDC. Currently, that SDC is $20,138, subject to go up. So each one of those 26 homes will have to pay $20,000 to the city. Okay, and that goes into a special reserve fund that cannot be spent on anything other than accounting for infrastructure changes as a result of those new residents. So the existing residents do not have to pay the full burden for it. So this would add another $500,000 to our SDC funds, split between water, stormwater, parks, and all that. Water and water and sewer get the majority of that. And that, for instance, would go to increasing our collector size that goes into our lifts. Our lift station is right where Silos is. You look down there and you see a fenced area. That's where everything in the city goes into a big well and then gets pumped over to our lagoons. That would help pay for, in this case, we're looking to actually put a pedestrian bridge at that point over to the park. That will be able to carry water and sewer, so we can put a bigger sewer line in. And part of those SDCs could go towards a federal grant. $300,000 of it can go towards a $3 million grant to put that bridge in place. And we're actually going for that grant right now.
So
And
the answer
we're-
is yes, they do. They put
Yes.
money in for it.
So-
I really appreciate that.
So the point is that's how we take care of those things. We get 26 more homes, I'm gonna have to put an 8-inch pipe in. To get that 8-inch pipe in, I'll use my SDCs, usually leveraging that with other funds. If the water plant has to expand, again, we utilize those funds to do that, so we don't have to go out and charge you an extra bond or something else to take care of it.
That's good to know. Some years, so there's been challenges with water in Monroe at different
Yeah.
times.
Well, there has been, and
Future thoughts.
it is, and a lot of it was because the city grew beyond its, the regulatory agencies hit us hard. We were caught behind the 8 ball. The city got a wonderful system that it was still behind the 8 ball in, and we're finally catching up on it now. So we're much better today than we were even 5 years ago.
We see that, we're just glad to see that that's still.
And we think about it now. This group does not let me forget. They're always asking me, how many homes can you put in before we do? And
52.
And the answer is
52, we
50.
got a number.
And the answer is 52, before I have to expand.
And it's probably important to note that the developer also pays the infrastructure at the time, right?
Yes.
The streets and the sewer to the homes and all that
Everything
cost.
else.
So the city's
Right.
not
We don't
bearing
pay
that.
for that. We
cost.
pay for the increased size or the increased capacity.
Right.
And then does that cost get passed on to the homeowner? So the 390,000 average home for Monroe now gets jacked up to.
Well, yeah, technically, it's like the 399 that were the homes over in Red Hills, 20,000, 17,000 of it at a time went to the city.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to note that in Philomath, which does not stop growing, the
system development fees are in the 39.
Yes, we're,
Much- much higher.
we're actually well in the middle of the road,
Yeah.
But when we set ours, we were in the middle, so
Yeah.
everybody's been increasing theirs.
and we may need to. Matter of fact, we're supposed to be reviewing those annually, and that's coming up.
And we do have a substantial SDC fund right now.
Yes, we do. We have over $1.2 million in our SDCs.
The other thing I'd like to point out is that there are openings on the budget committee. So if you guys are really passionate about this, this could be a great opportunity for you to participate in local government.
Or even just show up and be there. So you
Yep.
can do that.
Yep.
Our last budget committee meeting, when we passed it, we had 0 people in this room. And that
Is not a great sign.
I can't understand that, why we're making decisions with their money and nobody's here.
It is a really nice way to keep
Go.
up on things. Yeah.
I think you just signed up.
We do want that.
I think.
that would be appreciative.
Yeah.
Get his name. Okay.
Did you sign it? Okay.
Our next meeting is,
You'd be absolutely perfect. We'd love to have anyone who's interested to know about our city and
And especially
We love
people
it.
with expertise. That's very good, rather than,
love it.
yeah, rank amateurs.
all right. Are we ready for old business?
Yes, sir.
Old business.
Let's talk about the Croson plans for the old gas station.
I have not heard back from Brady. I was going to check in with her this week, see how she's doing. I know they've had other issues and problems.
They've had a lot.
Did they
going on.
find another house or move into?
And
the
I wanna
house?
be
I noticed
supportive
the
for them.
trailers moved. or something.
They've just had they've had
Really?
bad luck.
I want her secret for her baskets. Like her.
Aren't they
baskets are-
wonderful?
It's ridiculous. They're so wonderful.
It's mineral water.
It puts a smile on my face every time I go by.
They keep going and it's like.
It's the city water, Kim said.
They've had- Clearly, I feel so bad.
Also, the
Their
IPAs at
silos
the
is a
Long
huge
Timber,
thing.
that's
Mhm.
my water too. That's just let you know.
Not your water.
My
Not
water,
your personal
I make
water.
it personally.
The water.
Yeah, it makes a
It's hard to
lot.
argue with that.
Oh,
Okay.
oh.
How about,
I see what you're saying now.
See?
Oh,
how about the Jody Kahn property on?
I've not heard back from Mr. Khan. Appears to have that on hold at the moment.
He seems to think it's on hold with the city, but I'll.
It's on hold simply because he has so the next thing that has to happen is his engineering company has to send me the final draft for me to sign. The copy of the plans, and then he has $20,000 in SDCs.
Does he have, isn't he replacing a home that was there prior? It's a new,
That home, the last time that was there was way back in before 1996.
the gravel road, no sidewalks.
and so we've already talked about the P and D property.
Yep.
Don't think we need to go over that. Any updates on Bounds or Oaks?
I'm supposed to be meeting with him this week.
Okay. Any updates on the UGB land swap?
No, there is not. So Darren Nichols, who was the planning director, was working with me, is since had resigned and moved on. Petra Sheets, who you've met, is part of the is interim. And I'm supposed to be meeting with Pat Weingard and they're trying to get a time set up so we can all three of us sit down and talk. I was hoping to have that this week, but it looks like that'll be next week. Summertime is a tough time to get
Yeah.
everyone together on the same page. But I'm still moving forward. I've got much more comprehensive comp plan information. I actually read our housing inventory report from back when. And to Commissioner Eastridge's comment, I think there's some things that need to be challenged or changed about that. I think it's looking much better to do the swap is what I'm seeing. Simply because, but my next step is I have to talk to DLCD and Benton County because they're the recipients of part of that property. And as soon as I'm done with that meeting, I'm going to let people know what we're doing. So
That is with
Kevin
our
and all
buildable
those
lands
folks need to
inventory,
be,
right?
everyone needs to be notified.
That's because it skews our buildable lands inventory.
It does.
Because
It
of the
does.
large amount of wetlands.
Exactly. And see the problem up there in the, up on the Brickyard area is that there's a huge amount of that that's not developable. Or it's in the FEMA floodplain, the new FEMA floodplain is coming out. So it's problematic. We have it, but it's, how much of it's really available? That's the question.
Excited that we're getting the footbridge thing.
That, thanks,
Potential grant.
Susan Patterson of the Council of Governments is their grant writer up there. I made sure I took advantage of that. She's helping us write the grant for that piece. We, thanks to Commissioner Gray Dennis and Afrana, I believe it was Afrana.
Yeah.
Got a grant for Dowell Construction to get all the preliminary engineering done. It makes it very easy to get our preliminary application in. And as a result, that, and what is a $3 million project, we need $300,000 on it, but we have it, as I explained, so.
Any word on the library, what's happening with our library?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
I did want to come back to that.
Oh, which
Before we
one, the
move off of
footbridge?
that topic.
Go ahead,
Is
go
it
ahead.
okay to
Yeah, go ahead.
continue that on? So, on the topic of the pedestrian bridge, adjacent to that, you and I had talked about the possibility of potentially basically buying some property from the
Right.
Niestrums to create a park and a public parking lot that's near the lift station that would also be at the opening of that pedestrian bridge to
Right.
create essentially a portal into and for people to pull off, you imagine, Riverside Park, public parking, that kind of, so
That's
laying the
an
groundwork for that.
agenda item on the work session
Okay.
next Monday.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I'm moving quickly on it.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if there was anything that was useful or necessary from this group.
It will be.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to go to the work session and
Mhm.
talk about that and the grant and start putting a package together. That'll have a land use component, which will need to come back to you folks while we're working on because this is a pre-app. This is about a year away,
Uh-huh.
okay, because of how the grants work. Okay, so right now is a pre-app. It goes in September, by no later than September 30th. We won't get a decision until next March. The grant will actually be let by September 30th of next year.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of a year process how they do these things.
But
But
it-
everyone's saying it looks really good. I mean, I'm talking about the state side of it.
What about, did you feel out Eastern about?
Not yet. I
Okay.
wanted to go to council first.
Oh, okay.
I did drive by the Dayton Bridge, the one that this is pedestrian bridge is modeled, and it's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah, it's great.
It is beautiful. Those pictures that were sent were just,
Have that installed now.
Dayton has identical, they patterned after exactly the same thing over the Yamhill River. A little longer, but it's one bridge piece. They just set it between, they have pictures of them setting it with the cranes.
Cool.
But it also has water and sewer on those.
And is just on a side note, in your considerations in the work session, is it possible that there could be some sort of overlap with 1135, any kind of earth moving that happens, that there could be some potentially cross benefit that
I'm
happens?
hoping so because we're hoping that the environmental study that the Corps of Engineers did will apply to this.
Help kind of
Because that's a
grease the
huge,
wheels. for
right,
that.
because that's a huge component
Uh-huh.
to this. And we're hoping that will work.
And they'd be inclined to approve it as based on they're already familiar with the whole.
I think
site.
that was raised and Elliot said that, yes,
Yes, they have the drawings already, so they're aware of it and the kind of location. They also have been talking about any scouring that needs to be done in the river channel in order to accommodate any new water intake. They've already got that they're waiting for the design of the water intake design, so they can actually do that kind of work for us beforehand too, so.
So that's something that's great news. It seems to me that that's like a revealed benefit of the 1135
It is.
project. And
It
that it
is,
could be,
because the environmental
help
study would be
facilitate
huge.
this other project. Yeah, cool.
All right. Anybody have anything else?
Library.
Library.
So right now, everything is kind of being discussed with the attorneys on all three parties.
Oh, I feel so at ease.
Yeah.
Be still my heart.
I thought it was moving in a very positive direction.
Well, let's put it this way. I don't think anything's going to happen to the library or the library services. I think the question is, who's going to be responsible for the building? I think that's really the question
Well,
that's
yeah, I mean,
being
it's
asked.
always been budgetary. It's like the maintenance and.
That's more than that at this point. Without getting into attorney-client privilege, I'll just simply say that there's a lot of questions that have been raised because of the documents that we now all have before us, in terms of how that was originally given to the city. Everyone's looking at it now and looking at the actual details of it. And so we're all in the process of deciding how it's going to work. So it's not a matter of, is the library going to shut its doors? No. I don't know if it can. Is it going to turn into City Hall? The answer is no, because it can't. Is it going to, it just is what it is. The question now is that what is the proper relationship? Maybe that's a better way of saying it. What is the correct relationship between Monroe, Benton County, Corvallis? I think, and that's what's being worked out.
Okay.
That's how it is. And so it will be, it's just going to be a matter of everyone sitting down
Lawyers
looking
need
at,
to make their money first.
yeah, the lawyers. Well, Benton County has their own counsel. Corvallis screwed themselves over and got someone other than Jim Brewer. Our attorney's very reasonable.
Okay.
So
is there any update on the Alpine Inn? I'm curious about what the status of that.
the Alpine Inn, at the moment, the Alpine Inn has ignored the city of Monroe. Our municipal judge rendered a verdict on behalf of the city for all the charges. It's actually, as you recall, $1,000 a day for 220 days. So at the moment, though, at the moment, the city is more concerned really about the health and safety of the building and anyone up there, and not having the regulatory pieces to it to make sure that it is safe. The city is going to move forward with an injunction, just simply to say, you need to stop this until such time as you go back to here, really, or at such point in time as this new ordinance that we went through and passed an ordinance, or we will be putting an ordinance in place that we had land use hearing. So we'll have an ordinance in place for short-term rentals per what you folks came up with. And but they'll still have to answer for it. So, but the answer is no one has come here.
Yeah.
It's for sale.
It is for sale.
Yeah.
And so what's going to happen is there's going to be an injunction and a lien against the property.
Looks the roof.
Yeah.
They wouldn't, they'd come out of the sale price of the house. Yep.
It needs a lot of improvements.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could get it wrong.
Well,
I know.
The city council wishes to be very reasonable with this, but the city also has to enforce its ordinances. So at the same time, we're just waiting for someone to come to the city and say, gee, what do you guys want to do? This is a mess.
yeah.
What do I do next? I said, well, you need to come here.
We're so accommodating.
And so nice.
I'm incredulous that he wasn't interested at all in having a dialogue at all.
No, well, he posted, I don't know if you saw his Facebook, he took the one letter we had and posted on Facebook saying that we were going after him. So he has received the information. I don't know what to say.
One other question is anything with the city property land sales moving forward?
Yes. So I'm talking with the county on the EFU land, and there's maybe some hope for that a little bit. I'd like to contact the Longtime Watershed Council on the slough with that. And then we have the Cow Springs and Belknap. Cow Springs was one that Mr. Nystrom originally had offered to enter in discussion of trading that for the land next to the lift station. Belknap Springs is open for sale. The Reader Building across the way, we're going to hold for a moment because we don't know what to do with City Hall.
Yeah.
We may need to use that, remove the Reader Building and put a modular unit. The reason why is the City Hall is built with terracotta brick. And we had a seismic engineer down here and he says, you know what? Your cheapest way is to bulldoze the thing and rebuild. So for safety purposes, the whole thing would collapse in our heads. So we're looking at a different option.
And I asked because as the river restoration 1135 moves forward, the property, the 1 acre parcel is not an issue, but the sloughs below.
Yeah, where your finger,
Yeah, they're
right
they're
there.
part of the project, and if the city maintains ownership, it's easier to address the sloughs.
Right. So the
Going
slough would be in the
forward, so-
white area below the,
Oh, not the. city.
not there, the one right below the green,
Okay.
that slough, the one right there in that little triangle.
If the city sold this
We
parcel,
won't.
okay, all right.
No, it's this area.
This is a city parcel?
Yeah, right here.
Where's
So
the
it's
bridge?
this right here. This is the slough.
So
right
that
here.
this is not public land, then city-owned public land?
This is the city owned right here.
Okay.
This area right there.
Okay, so if that's.
And we're looking to talk to Long Tom Watershed Council and put it and see if they're interested in purchasing it.
So that is a parcel that could be impacted.
Yes.
And if it goes to a private entity, that could have a big impact on, create some complications.
So that's why we
So
would
I
like to
would-
talk with the LTWC and see if they're interested. It mentioned at one time that they might be interested in that because they
Okay.
have funds set aside for that kind of work.
Right.
The 1 acre piece that has the house on it
Not a
would probably go to one of the adjoining farms
Yeah,
because that's the only thing that has any value.
I guess if that reaches that point, it'd be good to talk with Army Corps to make sure we're not creating the
Right.
conflict
Right,
for
agreed.
resolving the upstream.
Agreed. You know,
slopes. Yeah.
it's,
Okay.
we don't want any conflicts.
Since we got the map in front of us, right north of the park, how much land does the city own north of the park that accommodates the big,
Swimming pool.
the big swimming pool?
All right, so if you look at the white, if you look at the, if you go to the tip of, let's go back. I have that on the other
There you
map
are.
here. All right, so if you go right here, it goes all the way up here and all the way across. So this whole area in here belongs to say that's where the lagoon is. We're actually talking, that'll be part of the UGB discussion, but a separate one. We feel that's a more of an administrative change than, because it's not buildable or anything else. It's just simply aligning city property with city property.
You got lakefront property.
Yeah, we do. And that's a beautiful lagoon, by the way. We have a huge amount of wildlife on there.
It's,
Yeah, I had eight hatchlings this year up there.
it's been talked about incorporating.
But when the
that
wind
since they
blows in
bought it,
certain directions.
And we never have done it.
I'm talking with Pat Weingarten right now. That's actually it's kind of a separate conversation from this other conversation on UGB, but it looks like it's probably going to be handled all at the same
And
time.
then the top of Commercial Street past Reservoir Heights Park,
Yes,
where the old water tanks are,
yes.
that's outside the city limits too. How come that's just not maybe
No,
incorporated?
and I
I know the
I'm
history of it.
researching this, but the original deed, which goes back to like 1938 or something, specifies that if this is no longer being used as water storage or anything of that nature, then as soon as the city abandons it, it goes back to the original owners.
Right, and that's been the,
That's the reason why it was excluded, was because there was an easement on the property. And I don't know why they drew it that way to begin with. I would not have drawn it that way, but
You're just talking about that little tiny block right there where
Right.
the tank is?
right here,
That little
right.
block.
And
Yeah.
could you find the owner, previous owner?
No, I have not been able to find one.
but with.
Davy
the,
Crockett.
Water tank at near capacity now, holding 1 million gallons, that wouldn't be a bad site for another.
I was looking at this for a
Water.
fire reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at the smaller, the original, the tank we have. This is the one that's, just right above Reservoir Heights Park. Yeah, the two, I call the two little cute little teacup, the original ones that held Belknap and Kyle Springs. Then we built another one, a concrete tank. that appears that we could at least fill it up 3/4. And that would be about 250,000 gallons.
Yeah, when you back flush, you can always use that water to put in there.
Exactly. So that is the reserve intent on it at this
Get a
point.
standpipe down closer to the flat.
If we
that'd be
move something
ideal.
down, then we would have an ability to move fire trucks up there as a reserve and get fire water. Fire water.
Fire water.
Ooh.
Talking about long timber.
Anyways, I was thinking those two things we should incorporate, at least get into. It sounds like you're on it.
Yeah, we have them, they're inside the UGB, that it's just, I don't know why the city limits excluded them. Because that's the purple line here, is city limits, this darker line is the UGB. I don't know why it was excluded. I'm been researching it, I actually have a copy of the original deed, I found it. Amazing things, like you look hard enough in City Hall, you find all sorts of interesting things.
All right. Well, our next meeting is September 2nd. Love to see all of you here if you don't mind, September
Labor Day.
2nd.
Labor Day. It's Labor Day.
Oh, is that Labor Day?
Oh, yeah, that's Labor Day.
I was just looking at that. yeah.
Come here by yourself.
Maybe the night.
Okay, so we're not gonna meet, we're gonna meet September 9th then.
Yes, I will probably move the work session that time, I think,
9/9.
because I need to have the a land use hearing on that date.
Okay. All right. I tried.
You could try. Good try.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. We really do appreciate you coming. Seriously, we really need more city involvement. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to interject.
Yeah. All right,
Bang.
we're done.